Well, hey guys, welcome to this week's show. Got my favorite guest. You're a star on the show, baby.
Way.
Always a pleasure to have Leslie here. We're going to be talking about cruising. Go figure, we've been talking about cruising all the month of September, haven't we,
Yes.
sweetie? Well, so we still got one cruise that we haven't told you about. Actually, two cruises that we went on this summer that was just amazing. It really was a trip of a lifetime, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It was
Absolutely.
incredible. It was really, really good. So we had planned a trip to Norway to do the Norwegian fjords, and we also had an opportunity to do back-to-back cruises. So we did the Baltic, Northern Mediterranean, and then after that we did a week in Norway, and it was just amazing, right?
It was
so
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
so beautiful. So here's how it worked. We actually flew from Florida to Copenhagen, and we did our 7-night Baltic cruise, and we had 4 ports there. I'm just going to tell you briefly about that because I really want to focus on Norway. But the Baltic was amazing. So if you're thinking about a med cruise, Northern Mediterranean is amazing. So we went to Tallinn, Estonia. Well, from Copenhagen to Tallinn, Estonia, St. Petersburg, Russia, which was just amazing, right? You've been there before. It was my first time, so really loved it. Just gorgeous. All the, what did you call them? The domes that are on top of the buildings there?
Well, I called them because they look like ice cream cones.
Yeah, so, but they're beautiful. The palaces and everything were just gorgeous, right? Yeah, that was really nice. And then from there, we went to Helsinki, Finland, and specifically Porvoo, which was this cute little,
Yeah, it's a
you
little
love
port
it there,
town.
right?
I love that little town. I fell in love with it when I went there the other sailing.
Yeah, Porvoo was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up in Stockholm, Sweden, and that was kind of interesting too because you met a friend of yours there from high school, right? You actually had a tour guide there.
Yeah.
You want to tell them about that?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Or not?
Yeah. Yes, I had a high school friend that is actually native to Stockholm, Sweden. And I am friends with him on Facebook, and we have just been chatting through the years. And I told him we were coming, and he was so excited. And he met us at the port, and Savante took us all over Sweden, not Sweden, but Stockholm. And he is an architect in that town, so he took us to some of his construction sites and proudly showing us all his work and his family heritage. I think, how many generations did he say his family's in? 9?
Oh,
or?
I don't know. They bought the place in 1898.
I-
So, he was actually a 4th generation, or was it 9th generation?
I thought it was 9.
9 generations, I think, in
Yeah, in
Stockholm.
Stockholm, yeah.
And so, in the summer house that he showed us, because it seems like everyone there has a winter home and a summer home out in the country. And so his summer home has been in his family for over 100 years.
Oh,
His
absolutely.
grandfather bought it in 1998, I think he told us. It was just amazing. So I'm confused. You went to high school in Copenhagen?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't go to high school there. He was an exchange student.
Oh,
and
that's right. That's
yeah,
how
my
it
junior
worked.
year in high school. Yeah. So
That's how it worked. I knew.
I forgot there was that.
Because you said he was a native Stockholm resident, and so I wasn't sure how you ended up in high school with a native Stockholm resident.
Nah.
That's what it was. So, yeah, he spent a year in the States, and it was just great to see him and Leslie catch up and talk about old times, and it was also interesting to see how much that year had really had impacted his life, and he remembered it fondly, and, talked so much about his 1 year living in the States, out of the 50-something years he's lived in Stockholm. So that was kind of cool. It was really an interesting thing. And the city's beautiful. And to be, to have that kind of a tour guide, that in-depth and, see
be
it
able
around
to
from,
communicate, because even though most of the people speak English, as any time when you're in another country, they're more comfortable in their native tongue versus trying to communicate in English, which the children do learn English earlier in school there, but obviously, it's their native tongue is whatever is it, Swedish they speak. I'm not sure what they speak, what language it is now.
I don't know. I don't speak it. So that was our time in Stockholm. It was just amazing. So we had a couple of sea days on this. Like I said, it was a 7-night cruise. So that's it. I want to get to Norway.
Yes.
So after Stockholm, we're back to Copenhagen. off the ship, on the ship. If you've ever done back-to-back cruises on Disney, you know they make that really nice for you. You do have to, when you're there, to have to go off and get off the ship and go back through customs and reboard the ship. But they have a nice little private area. We were only off the ship for a little while. Back on the ship early, which was kind of nice,
Yes.
and we were able to go to the Cove Cafe and have complimentary lattes, which was kind of relaxing. Caught up on email for a little while, and then we're on our way. And there were some amazing ports. I like to call it the land of trolls and waterfalls. That's pretty much
like the big thing up there.
That's their big highlights. I mean, it is some of the most beautiful country you can imagine. It was really, really cool. One of the things that we did in our first port was Stavanger. And so we took a bus ride, and then we took what do you call those things where the buses roll up on them? The ferries.
Ferries,
took
yes.
A ferry, yeah.
Ferry, that was a nice experience. I've never done that before.
Man, on a big bus. I mean, they just load these things up, and this was a huge ferry. So we got off the bus. We had half an hour ferry ride over to the next island, because I guess Norway is just made up of islands and stuff too, right? And so we ferried over there. Bus drove off, and we're on our way to Pulpit Rock. What an amazing trip that was, huh?
Yes, it was very adventurous, I might say.
We
Not
hiked
for
up,
the faint of heart.
Sure, we hiked up at least 2, if not more, waterfalls I remember climbing, and you know the steps were a lot, a lot of steps. I think my health app on my iPhone told me that we climbed 34 flights of stairs that day and took over 22,000 steps on that. Remember, it was just,
Wow.
It was crazy. It was a 4-hour excursion. We hiked and hiked and hiked up this trail. And, you know, in some places it was easy walking. In some places it was just pure climbing up these rocks. And they warned us that, you know, you're not in the States, you're not in a national park, there are not barriers there. So there are no chains, you could have just easily toppled off if you weren't watching where you're going. So you had to be extremely careful. I'm not saying it was treacherous or dangerous or anything like that. You know, the trails were not, I mean, they were slippery in places, but
Yeah.
they were not like, oh my God, I don't think I can make it. It's just that, you know, they keep things natural there. Hiking is the national pastime for Norwegians, I think.
Oh,
they
yeah,
just love to be outdoors.
They do. Well, and you got to think why they want to be outdoors. It's just like what Savante was telling us in Stockholm, in Stockholm when we were there, is that their winter, they have how many hours of darkness every day? I mean, it's like maybe only 4 hours of daylight in the wintertime.
Right.
So they focus when the time changes, that it starts coming daylight, and then they have like, what, how many hours of daylight did we have?
Yeah, we only had 3 hours of darkness,
Yes.
pretty much, you know, so it gets dark after midnight and the sun's up before 4.
Yes.
So you only get a couple of hours of darkness, and when, like Leslie started to say, when the sun is out, they want to maximize
They
their
wanna
time
be
outside.
out,
If they're
and-
able to be outside, they want to be outside.
Yes.
Hence the summer homes and that kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
That they can be outside. So, you know, we hiked and hiked and hiked up this trail, a couple of hours up the trail. I mean, literally, like a 2-hour hike to get there. But when we got there, it was amazing, wasn't it?
It was a beautiful view.
Yeah, so it's called Pulpit Rock because it kind of sits up there like a pulpit, you know, just like a place that you stand and really you just kind of oversee the whole fjord and the whole valley and everything. It's just extremely gorgeous, beautiful.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, it really was. It was really nice. We had a box lunch up there that they gave us because, you know, 2-hour hike and then a hour and a half hike down. It was easier going down in some places.
It was, yeah. It
In
was
some
a lot
places,
easier.
I think it was harder going down, though. You know, so hiking down some of the rocks and stuff. But really, a great thing to do. But make sure that you know that you are in shape before you do that, because I was
Yes.
kind of wondering in places. You run marathons, so. You know,
It was good. It was definitely not for the faint at heart, and definitely come prepared. It is a wonderful excursion if you take the Disney cruise, and I'm sure other cruise lines offer it as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
lot
what
of
I'm
people
saying is that it is a very adventurous excursion, and boots, if you have hiking boots or trail shoes, something that's made for that type of ground, that's good, because it is damp rocks, and it is trails too, so you will get dirty, but it's mostly climbing on rocks. And and it seems like the people who were native to that area also had hiking gear, whereas they weren't wearing blue jeans like most of us were, because or the outdoor pants are good. The like Columbia has those outdoor pants where you can zip the knees out and that type of thing. That type of apparel is really good for that area, and layers, because it is cool and damp and you will get hot, so you want to be able to dump your layers.
Yeah, take something lighter, take something breathable, as Leslie said.
Yes.
And dress in layers, good tip. And that way you can kind of take it off or put it on as you get into the shade or as you get into different places where you're exerting yourself. But it is a very exerting excursion, and I'm not sure when they say that it's a high level of exertion if we were prepared for how high level it was, really. And a lot of people weren't.
And I would have to say I agree with that, because the description of the adventure on the website, I don't think really justified how adventurous that was.
Yeah, how exerting
it
it was. A lot of people had commented they just really didn't expect to hike that far or walk that much.
Yeah.
On that excursion. But truthfully, it was worth it. So I don't want to make it sound like we didn't enjoy the excursion. Completely did. It was absolutely beautiful. It was one of the highlights. Definitely one of the highlights of the trip was that photo that we got up at the top of Pulpit Rock. So
and everyone came back talking about their excursions, at the dinner table and just around the ship, when you're just hanging around. And it was the big talk was going to Pulpit Rock.
Truly was.
And doing that excursion.
Very
Definitely,
popular.
yes.
So our next port was Aalesund, and I'm not sure if I'm even saying these port names right. May not be. So, but anyway, we were in this place called Aalesund. Alesund, and it was an amazing place as well. You can imagine with Norway, I said trolls and waterfalls, but also our Vikings. And so we went to a Maritime Museum. Big boat nut here. Love boats, love sailboats, love any kind of boat really. And so we went to a Maritime Museum to kind of see the Viking history of Norway.
Yes.
So we had these wonderful, beautiful boats, these long boats that they used to row, and they would sail, and they would work on, and they would fish and do all of the things to sustain their culture. It was amazing. It was really cool to see how they built them, and how they sailed them, and basically how they sustained themselves in them.
Yeah, and sometimes how they didn't sail.
Right, how they fought in them. It was pretty amazing. And from there we went shopping. Remember the little outlet mall? We really kind of changed our day because we thought that was going to be our shopping place. You had some specific things that you wanted to buy for the kids. To bring back we say kids, but our not even teenagers anymore, our young adults that we have, the other humans that live in our house, that you had some things that you're looking for, and that was kind of a bust, except for the little bistro that we found to eat in.
Yeah.
The shopping part of it was a bust, but they said this is the place you wanted to go shopping, but unless you were into, what was it, Hillary, and what were the other stores that we found that were very
high-end clothing type of thing.
Stores. And what was that one that is so popular there? I can't recall it now, but it's outdoor apparel kind of thing. But anyway, stores like that. That wasn't really the kind of stuff that we were looking for to shop for.
No, not that kind of clothing.
But would have been good to take to Brookside Lodge snowmobiling, I guess, some of it.
Yeah.
But the little bistro that we found made some amazing sandwiches, and cappuccinos were just great, right?
Yeah,
great.
that was good. That was really nice to experience that.
Yeah. So Aalesund was wonderful. From there, we went on to Granger, which was just amazing, just because of the fjord that we sailed up. And then it just dead-ended into this little village. So it's almost like the ship came sailing up this river, high mountains on both sides, which is basically what a fjord is. That's pretty much the description of a fjord, a narrow channel with high mountains, pretty much cut by a glacier. Is typically how fjords are formed. Much like you would see in Alaska, very similar to the Alaska cruise that we did. But we sailed up this thing, and you see little houses and things dotted along there, very sparse, so not very much, all the way up this. And then all of a sudden, we just see this mountain in front of us, and there is this awesome little village right there.
Yeah,
Right?
it was cute.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Now, we found that our excursion on this was another hike, and we were a little cautious, I guess, going into this one. I will say that it wasn't as bad as the Pulpit Rock hike,
No.
but it was pretty demanding as well.
It
right?
was. Well, you know, you got to think those mountains, they're
Hiking up
pretty
mountains.
steep.
That's right.
They're
You go
pretty
from
steep.
sea level, because we were on a ship, think about that. You go from sea level up to the top of a mountain. But this mountain had Pulpit Rock, really cool thing, an amazing thing to see. This one had its own thing. It was a waterfall. It was really,
Yes.
really cool. And again, I'm going to mess this one up, but it was called Storsæterfossen. How's that?
Sounds good.
Storsæterfossen waterfall, which was really, really cool because, you know, being Disney fans, we saw that one unique thing, you know, one of the 8 wonders of the world. I guess it is truly the 8th wonder of the world, the backside of water.
Yes, amazing.
We got to walk down and
Amazing.
we got to walk down and go actually between the rock and the waterfall, which was pretty cool. And then we hiked back down the mountain and we found another little bistro cabin kind of thing where they served us a great little snack, right?
Yes, they did. Wow, that was a treat too, because we were kind of cold. It was starting to drizzle and rain. The temperatures while we were there were probably in the 50s, 60s, and it was, you know, so it's damp, you know, the misty, kind of like Alaska in ways, you know, with that misty, rainy kind of feel when you can go into Alaska areas and see that.
Right. And really, really cool. Did you tell them what we had?
Oh,
For our
yes.
snack? That was amazing.
Yes, it was. It was a homemade waffle, and it's not like how we do it here in the States where it's crispy and toasty almost. It was very moist.
Like a cake.
Like a cake almost.
And they were fresh. I mean,
Very-
they
yeah,
were
they were
cooking this thing and
in the
bringing them right
griddle.
out.
Yeah, and it was very fresh and very just a really nice taste. And I thought, ooh, it's not done. And it was completely cooked. But it's just the way that they do it there, and all, you know, always when you're in another country or another city and you try something, it just seems better than ever. But it was very good, and they handmade like a whipped cream in a cup, so that you could put that on it, and then they had preserves that you could put on top of it. So that's how they do it. You can mix the two together and then spread it on top, or, you know, layer it how you wish.
Or
and
sections. Some people we
Yes.
saw did that. So there were different ways to enjoy your waffle. You could have a quarter with whipped cream, a quarter with berries, a quarter with both, a quarter plain, you know, whatever you
Absolutely,
want.
however you
So
wanted
you
to
can mix and
experience
match
it.
your waffle experience there.
They
And,
had served us some nice hot coffee.
and that was pretty cool. We saw some breathtaking views in all of our ports of the ship, and it's an amazing thing, as I mentioned, you know, you're at sea level in the port, but then you go up to these high elevations and you can look down on the ship in a lot of places. So we got some great photos
Yes,
that
you
we posted
did.
on Instagram and things of the ship, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool.
Yes, we did get some really good shots of the ship.
All right, then we got one more port to talk about, Bergen.
Oh, Bergen,
Remember
yes.
Bergen? You planned that out. Leslie planned our excursions, which she always does, but we planned a train ride because
Oh,
I love
yes.
trains just as much as I love boats. Well, not as much as I love boats. I like trains. I love boats. I like trains a lot. So it's kind of cool to take this amazing train ride. So we took a bus trip up and kind of made our way to the train station.
Mhm.
And then we took a nice train ride up through the mountains. It reminded me of when we did the White Pass thing in Alaska.
Railroad, yeah.
It was similar to that,
It
right?
was. It was very similar to that, going on the White Pass Railroad in that city in Alaska. I can't remember.
Skagway, I think.
Skagway, was it?
Yeah, I think it was
And
Skagway.
it was, you know, we actually saw snow. Remember that one little town we went through, and there was still snow on the ground, and we were there on the 1st of June for that
Yeah.
particular sailing. No, June, the first week of June.
Right.
That way.
Again, high elevations. We were
Yeah.
up, saw lots of waterfalls, lots of rivers and streams,
Yes.
lots of beautiful things. And we ended up in this wonderful resort hotel where we had a lunch, an authentic Norwegian lunch. What did you think of that?
I'm not sure I remember that right now. Give me
Remember
some
the
more
buffet that
information.
we went to? We ended up, you know, we took our bus. Remember that winding
Yes.
road that we went up to
Yes.
with all the
Oh,
switchbacks?
yes,
And we landed up there, and they had this beautiful overlook that you could see down the waterfall.
Yes, those curves like this.
And then we had that buffet lunch there that they had prepared for us, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah, that was
welcome there. Had lots of
definitely very Norwegian kind of foods, you know, with the fish and
meatballs and things like that. It was just, it was really, really
different
good.
Type of dining.
Yeah, lots of smoked fishes and things like that, you know. So, you know, all those Scandinavian things that you think of for all of you that join us for Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival, you know. So some of those kinds of things, the smoked salmon and herring and whatnot, was really, really good. But the train excursion was wonderful. I just loved taking the train ride.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah. That was good.
So, any other highlights? I mean, one of the coolest things I thought that we did was taking Olaf around. We took Olaf back to his Norwegian roots. That was kind of cool.
Kind of like a Flat Stanley, you know, where you travel with a Flat Stanley, the little kids do, and say, Grandma, take Flat Stanley on your trip. Well, we took Olaf back to Norway.
That's right.
That was a lot of fun.
That was our hashtag, take Olaf home.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. We got pictures of Olaf everywhere, enjoying adult beverages, enjoying food, enjoying views of the ship, enjoying waterfalls and whatnot.
And just the views of his own country.
Returning home. But we brought him back with us, so don't worry, Olaf is safe back in Walt Disney World again now, you know. Olaf made it back to Florida. But that was kind of neat, and you know, a lot of you guys followed along with us on Instagram, and now we get to share it with you here. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
All right, so it's been a great cruise month. Anything else before we move on? I'm sorry about Norway. Anything else you want to share?
No.
Lovely, right? Just a beautiful country. If you get a chance to go. Just breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah. It was absolutely awesome, and I think Savante in Stockholm just made it really well. Obviously, for personal reasons, made it very nice for me to see him and speak with him after 37 years from high school. You know, it was really, I know I don't look like I'm that old.
You don't. You absolutely do not. You look amazing.
It was wonderful to see him. So I hope that I'll have to let him know that we have this video. And
we didn't spend that much time on him.
No, we didn't. Well, no, we didn't. And we didn't film any. We took pictures, but we didn't film anything with Savante. But anyway, he was a
great. And he also gave us a lot of insight on what we were going to be seeing in Norway, too.
Oh, yes.
So he told us a lot about that, and a lot of the ports that we were going to be visiting, and how beautiful it is. They love it. You know?
Oh, even about his own country and all this. I mean, it was just an excellent time.
He was a wonderful tour guide. He really was. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's show. It's going to wrap up this month's cruising. So over the course of the month, we've taken you on different ships. We've taken you on Disney. We've taken you on Royal Caribbean. You can even find some Carnival stuff that we did. Not in our cruise month stuff, but we actually took Carnival, the Carnival Live concert series with Journey. We did that. So we've taken you on different ships. We've taken you to some wonderful places, the Caribbean. We've taken you to Norway and to Europe. You know, so there's lots of destinations you can go cruising, lots of ships, lots of links, lots of itineraries, lots of times that you can spend there. So you can do varying trips, you know, 3, 4, 7, 35, you know, day cruises. Just incredible variety of places and things and times that you can do and spend cruising, right?
Absolutely.
Just a cool thing. But I gotta say, I'm glad cruise month is over, because now it's time for Food and Wine Month.
Yeah, that's your big hoorah.
It's our favorite time of year. We always say that. So we're really looking forward to bringing you that. So don't miss any of our coverage of Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. We're going to be Instagramming, Facebooking, Twittering, Periscoping, videoing, doing all that kind of stuff, and letting you know exactly what we're eating and what we're liking and what we're enjoying during the Food and Wine Festival. What bands we're listening to at the Eat to the Beat. Going to be lots going on. You won't want to miss it, and you won't want to miss next week's show, because it's going to kick off right here for Food and Wine Festival. Right, sweetie?
All right, yes.
You're coming up for it, right?
Yes, I'll be there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you'll be there. You'll
schedule.
be there. You'll be there for some of it. We got busy schedules. So, thanks a lot for watching, sweetie. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And I hope to see you right back here next week on another episode of Travel with Rick. So long, everybody.
Bye.
When it's time to plan your next vacation, you need the experience of someone who can help you make the best decision for your vacation dollars. With over 18 years of experience, Kingdom Magic Vacations can help you plan your next trip to incredible destinations like Disney, Universal, cruises, and all-inclusive destinations. Our team of travel planners are with you every step of the way. All you have to do is relax and enjoy your vacation. We do all the work. Call 866-972-6244 or visit kingdommagic.com to start planning your vacation today.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching this week's show. We're here on the beautiful brilliance of the seas. Look at this ship behind me. This whole ship, not this ship, but this whole ship is gorgeous. It's just absolutely beautiful. And this is Schooner Bar, one of our favorite places. We've been hanging out on the ship because it's all nautically themed like this. Just incredible. Listen, we wanted to remind you to drop your email address up there in the upper right hand corner. That way you're signed up for our feed. Every time we put something new here on the blog, you'll be the first to find out about it and you won't miss a thing. If you want to find out everything else that we're doing, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/travelwithgreg. That's where we put our question of the week. You can find out where we're going, hear what we think about where we've been, and hang out with other Travel with Rick friends. If you're on iTunes or YouTube, yep, we have channels in both of those places as well. So check those out over there. Also, you never know where we're going to be, so check us out right back here next week for another episode of Travel with Rick. So long, everybody.